Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another good and bad video for today. This one's going to be doing the good and bad of Carl from The Walking Dead. Okay guys, so it's going to be doing another video for today. This one's going to be doing another good and bad video for today. This one is going to be doing the good and bad of Carl from The Walking Dead. So, big thank you to Eurovision Tops for suggesting this good and bad video for today. This one is going to be doing the good and bad of Carl. And next week, we're going to be doing the good and bad of Daniel Salazar from Fear the Walking Dead. So, definitely very excited to do that one. This one is going to be very interesting though, because Carl is one of the characters in The Walking Dead that I've always seen a debate on. Either people don't like him, they hate him, or they like him. You know, I haven't really heard many people that say, like, I love Carl from the TV show. I haven't heard much of that, unfortunately, which is very sad. The only time I really ever heard that was once he was killed off, which is kind of crazy. So, and I think it's just because a lot of people were sad that we didn't get to see more of that comic story play out, you know? And just the simple decision of what they did with him in Season 8 was just really, really bad in my opinion, and I know, and, a lot of your guys' opinions. So, Carl is introduced, of course, in Season 1, Episode 1, the pilot, of course, unfortunately killed off, in the wrongest way possible, he is killed off in Season 8, Episode 9, Honors. So, in Season 1, he doesn't really do too many things as a character, he's kind of just there as a little kid in the camp, but basically in Season 2, the first kind of big thing that happens to him, of course, he gets shot, of course, Hershel saves his life, and he wants to know how to shoot a gun, he wants to know how to defend himself, so good decision there from him for wanting to be able to do that. However, bad decision in this season at the same time would be not killing the walker at the swamp, because of course later on that walker does get to Dale, and he even admits that to Shane. He's like, if I would have killed that zombie, Dale might still be here, you know? So, good decision for trying to know how to defend yourself, bad decision for not killing that zombie is where I would, kind of set the good and bad decisions of him doing that. Now, he of course does, sneak out of the house, of course, during Shane's last episode, and of course he shoots zombie Shane to save his father, which they made it look like he was going to shoot Rick at first, and I'm like, okay, what's going on with this kid? Like, I'm like, what's going on? And then he kills zombie Shane. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's like, and definitely, I think if any of us didn't read the comics, which I didn't at the time, so when I saw Carl, supposedly point the gun at his own father, I'm like, wait, what's going on with this kid? Like, why is he pointing the gun at Rick, And then, we get the reveal he's pointing at zombie Shane. We just don't see it yet, But it threw me through a loop, absolutely, the first time. But we get the time skip, they get off the farm, we get the prison, of course, and we have the death of Lori that plays out. Now, good decision, bad decision for shooting Lori and putting her out of her misery. As sad as it is, it was the best decision Carl could have done in that situation. It's such a terrible scene to watch. It's such a hard scene to watch for him, and, for Maggie and for everybody. It was a sad scene, and definitely, Rick's reaction to that, knowing that Carl had to do that, you can just, Rick looks at Carl and he can just tell, like, he had to do something, that's when Rick really breaks down. And it's such a crazy episode. But, I would say that is a good decision shooting Lori, as terrible as that is, it's just, you gotta do it, right? You gotta put her out of her misery at that point, and honestly, I don't know, unfortunately, that was the only kind of option he had, it felt like, because Maggie had the kid, Carl was the one with the gun. It just, it's what had to happen, unfortunately. So, basically, in Season 3, he gets a little bit more savage, at first he rescues Tyrese's group, he does a few things like this, but obviously, as the war with the governor goes on, he does shoot the one soldier at the end of Season 3 that was putting his gun down. However, they did tell him, and this is the argument I always did have, Hershel did say, drop the weapon, son. He's like, sure. He's still pointing the gun towards Carl. He's like, take it. It's like, dude, drop it. Like, I'm just saying, like, drop it. Like, Hershel specifically said, drop the gun, not hand it over. Don't take it as you still have your finger on the trigger. Give the gun over, that's the one thing that definitely, like, I can see Carl's perspective. However, I'm still going to say it was a bad decision from Carl because, it was just a kid. He was running away. We know he wasn't a bad person. We can clearly tell this kid was just scared. So I do agree that, Carl maybe shouldn't have taken action like that. But at the same time, this kid should have just dropped the gun. Like, seriously, instead of handing it over with still his finger on the trigger, that drove me nuts. So part of me kind of gets it, but I'm more on Herschel's side, like way more on Herschel's side on that. I'm just saying there's about a 10% of me that's like seeing Carl's perspective on that, unfortunately. Just because, you know, he wasn't dropping the weapon like they asked, and, you know, just the way he was handing it over, part of it makes sense, but I'm more so just like, yeah, like Carl, he probably shouldn't have done it just like that. But anyway, so, you know, after that, Carl, obviously, and Rick, they kind of don't use their guns as much. Bad decision, yes, they should be using their guns. They should have their guns on them the whole time they're in the apocalypse. So, bad decision there, and it is Herschel that kind of influenced that, unfortunately. But, they get their guns back as you have the illness stuff that kind of goes on, and we have the governor that shows up, and Carl kind of blames Rick for what happens. You know, he basically yells at Rick, and he says that, you know, they all, you know, you couldn't protect any of them, you know, that type of thing, even Mom, you know, that type of thing, and you just want to plant vegetables and stuff like that, and, you know, I do see his perspective, but at the same time, Carl, honestly, how is Rick and Michonne and Daryl and everybody else, how are they ever going to find the governor if they don't know where he went? You know, they can't find him. They're not just going to abandon the prison for nothing. You know, it's just, there was no way around it. I'm sorry, but how were they possibly going to be able to find the governor? You know, I'm just saying, they had no idea where he was. There really was no way to find him until, you know, he kind of just attacked, and then it's too late, you know? So, I disagree. I highly disagree with Carl in that one, too. So, bad decision for yelling at Rick for something that Rick didn't intentionally do. It's just the prison was vulnerable because the governor went crazy and left, you know? So, that's, you know, that's that. But, I mean, he was always crazy, but he went even more crazy, you know, at the end of Season 3. So, we have Terminus. We have all that stuff kind of playing through. He does take a pretty leading role in one of these episodes here. We kind of leads some of the zombies away and stuff. From Rick. Of course, he has the chocolate pudding and some stuff like this. But, of course, Season 5 plays out. They're on the road, of course. We have Alexandria, and he meets up with Enid. Now, getting a girl from the apocalypse, why not, right? Yeah, I mean, why not? And honestly, you know, basically, we got, you know, some of that stuff that plays through. Ron is kind of in the middle of it, a bit of a love triangle here. We got a love triangle with Rick, Pete, and Jesse, and then the little Rick, the little Peter, and, you know, Enid. So it's like, we got, you know, two different, you know, love triangles, but, you know, it's you know, little Rick is, you know, in one, and then Rick is in the love triangle the other one. Yeah, I just find it funny how both Rick and Carl are both in a love triangle by the end of Season 5 going into Season 6. I just find that so crazy. So, because, like I said, of course, Ron was with Enid at first. So, you know, because he's like, my girlfriend. I mean, because she was anyway, right? Like, it's just like, okay, like, you know, anyway. Yeah, anyway, I can't stand Ron, if you guys couldn't tell. So, basically, he wants to learn how to shoot. Obviously, Carl and Rick teach him, of course, and we have the wolves stuff that plays out. And, you know, Carl basically, you know, unfortunately, and the others there, of course, in the zombie guts, as the herd kind of moves in. And, of course, we got Ron that, after the whole thing with Jesse, of course, the death of Jesse, he points the gun at Rick, and Michonne comes up and, you know, kills Ron. However, unfortunately, he does shoot Carl in the eye. Now, good thing is he didn't shoot him in the head, so good thing at least Carl survives, but of course we get a comic moment with the, you know, dad, you know, and he just kind of falls, and it's just like, oh crap, like, that's not good, you know? And basically, he goes down, and we have that. So no decisions right here were really made, but definitely, you know, some crazy stuff went down with Carl for sure. So for the rest of Season 6, I don't find Carl has that much screen time. A few scenes here and there, but not too much. He locks Enid in a closet, you know? Honestly, maybe the best thing, because then she didn't have to see the death of Glenn. So honestly, part of that actually is a really good decision. So obviously, after Season 7, with them working for Negan, we do get this episode between Carl and Enid where, you know, he's kind of going after her. They go to Hilltop together. The rollerblades and stuff like that. I thought that was decent. It was kind of fillerish, but part of it was good. And basically, he decides to go and try to kill some of Negan's men and Negan himself. And obviously, he doesn't succeed. He kills two of Negan's men, and then Dwight, you know, kind of takes him down. But do you pick that gun? Because it looked cool, you know? And that's so many comic accurate moments in that episode. But that was one of the episodes of Season 7 I actually really did like, is the Carl and Negan episode. I really did enjoy a lot of what they did there. But Carl definitely looked way older in the comic, but still, it was pretty awesome nevertheless. But basically, you scare me, that type of thing, and he kind of has the gun towards him. Like I said, Dwight takes him down, and then of course he is forced to sing to kind of repay for the 2 men that he killed earlier in the episode. We have the wives, and just Carl is just like, okay, what is this place? Like, seriously. Now, bad decision to try to go there and kill Negan himself. Absolutely, I think that's definitely one that we have to acknowledge. That's a bad decision, absolutely. Now, we have, obviously, the Siddiq stuff, so unfortunately, this is kind of getting to the end of his character here. Him deciding to save Siddiq, I mean, why not? It's not a bad decision. It's not the best decision, but it's not a decision that I'm going to say was horrible. However, you could say it's a bad decision, because in the end, that is why he got bit. However, people have also argued, and I don't like to mention this because Rick is my favorite character, but Rick did scare off Siddiq. He did, and as a result, Carl went out there, and he, and you guys know the rest. So, I'm just saying, even though I'm a huge Rick fan, you guys know I'm one of the biggest Rick supporters there is, I will still say, I think Rick, doing that did cause, some stuff that happened with Carl later on, and potentially caused his death. I don't agree with Negan that he failed as a father. I know some people do agree with when Negan said that, but he definitely failed. Rick failed at some things. He's not the perfect, character, the perfect leader. However, in my personal opinion, he is still the best character in the franchise because he's led the group through just almost, the craziest amount of things. But I would just say that, yeah, definitely, you could definitely make an argument that if Rick didn't scare Siddiq in that moment, things could have gone differently. So, of course, Carl is bit. He writes the letters and spends time with Judith, and you got the handprints and stuff like that. But unfortunately, he does die, of course, and he gives the hat to Judith, which is a pretty sad scene. And, of course, in the end, he shoots himself so Rick and Michonne don't have to do it. So, in terms of Carl's character, they butchered his death. I'm sorry, I don't agree with his death at all. I still find it so stupid that they even went that direction with it. They didn't need it. It was unnecessary, and they could have honestly done something else. I would much rather spend those 2 episodes that Carl died. If they could just cut that out, I would much even rather see 2 full episodes of replacement of just the Oceanside as bottle episodes than see Carl's death. That's how much I hate that. I would rather see Aaron and Enid have 2 straight episodes bottled off at Oceanside than see Carl have 2 death episodes like that. Episodes 8 and 9 of season 8. I would rather, just to keep that character alive in the story, because I can't stand it. I can't stand the idea of him being killed off. It still drives me crazy. And even though Henry took that stuff, it was nowhere near as good as the comic. It wasn't, because of, them deciding to kill off Carl like that. So, that is my personal opinion. He's had some good decisions so far in the series. However, I will say he has had some, bad decisions, very questionable decisions. The Dale stuff, blaming Rick for the governor, and, the stuff with him going after Negan, very reckless, very kind of crazy stuff that wasn't exactly necessary. But some good decisions as well, too, Definitely, I think that he was a great character. Definitely, he wanted to help as many people as he can. You definitely don't mess with Carl, because he'll definitely kill you if you mess with him enough. But, yeah, he was a really good character. I still prefer comic Carl, but TV Carl, Chandler Riggs, he did a good job. And I know that Chandler Riggs is a very big fan of the Walking Dead comics, so I'm sure, I really would like to hear what he really thought of how they handled this character in the TV show, because I'm sure Chandler Riggs was bummed out that he couldn't do some of the Henry stuff that they gave in season 9, So, but anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Write your comments in the comment section below. If you guys are new here, click that subscribe button so we send my videos for The Walking Dead. Follow Dan's Walking Reviews, unsubscribe, guys, and of course, I'll see you guys really soon for another Walking Dead video, and for, of course, the World Beyond finale tomorrow night. Of course, enjoy that episode tomorrow night, guys. We will be back for the Let's Chit Chat video for that. But until tomorrow, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and of course, I'll see you guys really soon for another video. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.